second race comes along, I think that's where I'll be. But do your job.
Yeah?
Yeah, do
Okay.
your job. Yeah.
Because if I'm standing, I don't want to be in your shot.
Do your job. Yeah.
Okay.
We fly horses anywhere around the world, whether it is a hobby horse or it's an Olympic champion. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely, in best of health, and in the quickest possible of time. We understand the business better than anybody else. We do not leave any stone unturned, and we are staffed by horse people from every layer of the company. We give horses wings. around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
A John Deere 3 Series tractor lets you tackle those bigger jobs with simple, intuitive controls that put the power in your hands and quick connect solutions to swap implements quickly with ease. From rotary cutter to rotary tiller to front loader. Take on all your property's biggest challenges. You just have to get in the seat.
International, we are about to get underway with the 4-star short cross country. We have had 2 great days of sports so far, and we will be getting underway, as I said, with the cross country here. Our overnight leader will actually be kicking us off here. It is a bit brisk here this morning. The U.S. Equestrian Open eventing final is brought to you by Great American Insurance Group, the official equine insurance sponsor of the U.S. Equestrian Open. The Duda Corp, the official equine air transportation partner of U.S. Equestrian. And Yeti, built for the wild. So we've had 2 days of dressage here, and today is cross-country day. They will go over a series of obstacles across the country on Derek DeGrazia's challenging track. And then tomorrow we will look forward to show jumping over Chris Barnard's track. Again, the horse and rider with the lowest combined score will be the winner at the end of the weekend. Two days ago, we had Tommy Greengard and his partner, That's Me Z, take the lead from the start of the class, and they didn't let go, and they will be our first out of the box here today as well. Tommy has traveled over from the West Coast to be here this weekend, and we are happy that he has joined us. With a lovely test. There's a great shot of one of the combinations that the 4-star short will be tackling. There's a look at our leaderboard as we head into cross country. Again, Tommy Greengard on a 29.1, followed by Sarah Schulman and Cooley Chromatic on a 32.1. Dana Cook and Effie Quattro on a 32.2, followed by Jenny Brannigan and Pascal on a 33.4. Olivia Dutton and Sea of Clouds on a 34.3. Sinead, we are going to have an excellent day of sport here. Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day, and as much as we love dressage, this is why we do this sport. This is the heart of it. In the heart of Virginia, Leesburg, Loudoun County, everybody is coming out to watch the show today, and we are starting strong with Tommy Greengard.
You know, it's such a commitment to come over from the West Coast and put in such a good test, and we know that this horse is strong around the cross country. I think we're going to be in for, I think the other riders will be really happy to have him show the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of combinations that are combined that we're going to see in the final later in the 4-star long. So everybody will have all eyes out on the screen, out on the course, seeing how these first set of horse and rider combinations tackle Derek DeGrazia's 4-star short course.
You know, the time here is really, really influential. Out of 162 rounds here, we've only seen 3 have made the time. Only 3 out of all of those horses, so I'm not sure we'll see anyone make the time today.
I do not think we will.
So we have an optimum time today of 6 minutes and 35 seconds. They have 21 numbered fences and 35 jumping efforts. Again, our course designer here is Derek DeGrazia. He has designed the 4-star short course as well as the 4-star long, and I know that the riders are excited to get that there and tackle it. Beautiful shots here of Morven Park. It is a stunning, stunning venue, and we're so lucky that we get to have our sport here today.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, the talk back in the barn is it's definitely a Derek track. You know, there are big fences, there's challenging fences, and then there's sneaky fences. I think the terrain here has so much influence, and where Derek has placed a lot of the questions after a very long run down a hill or a huge climb where a horse would normally be taking a breath, there's a big table corner question. So I think that we're going to get a lot more information here as we get into the next few, as we look to the event scoring, how this is going to work out. A refusal, 20 penalties, a flag penalty, 15. If they have a frangible device, 11. So that is an amazing safety technology that we have, that these fences will collapse if a certain amount of pressure hits them. And every second overtime, 0.4, which will be so influential, Annie.
The scores are really tightly bunched, and so as you say, every second over will be incredibly influential. We knew this wasn't going to be a dressage competition. It's going to be an incredible day of sport here. Again, you know, I think a lot of people come to Morven Park to jump around this track because it will help them understand where their horse is in their training. This might have been their goal all season. And so it will be a really great test for these riders.
A great shot down there of the warm-up. You see Zach Brandt, direct advance. I think we just saw Tommy flying by. There we see him. That's me, Z, preparing their horses to head out there. That, you know, it's going to be a quick 6 minutes and 35 seconds out there this morning. You know, I always think on a Saturday morning, it's actually nice to get out and go early. There's nothing worse for your nerves than sitting around all day kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. And there we get some good shots of Derek's course. That's right at the end of the track there. There's a kind of, like I talk about, some sneaky chevrons right there at the end that by themselves look very easy, but when you're chasing the clock, you're going to see somebody that could possibly have a heartbreaking run by.
I think that's the thing, right? I mean, everything out there is jumpable and doable, but when you try to put it all together with that speed, as you say, the terrain, it really, it will be quite exciting to see some of these pairs. Sinead, in this moment in the warm-up, sort of, what are you thinking as a rider, sort of just doing your last couple fences and getting ready to head to the start?
Yeah, I mean, I think there we've got a good shot of the start box there. I think by the time you put your foot in the stirrup, these guys are professionals, right? By the time they get in the tack, they start to melt into the job that they know. Each horse is going to have a slightly different prep. It's a chilly morning. You want to get enough of the edge off that the horses are rideable, but you certainly don't want to have a horse, you know, out jumped in the warm-up and so they run out of steam towards the end of the course. So I think it's more about getting the limbs and the legs, everything warmed up, feeling that they're smooth and rideable, and then heading down to that box where they have the first few fences are nice, big, and gallopy. Then Derek kind of takes you down around, you hit the water early, which again is actually a fairly inviting, straightforward fence. Then you climb up the hill to the back. And I think the first real question is the back on track 7A and B angled rails to a right-handed corner, which is shared with the 4-star long later. Saw a lot of riders out walking, rewalking, kind of thinking about how to approach the first. Is it going to be 4? Is it going to be 5? So I think that's going to be the first real question on the course as we see Tommy's horse all greased up there, ready to go. And again, this grease on the legs, it just kind of helps when there's a lot of brush. They can just kind of slip right over that fence if they brush it properly. We're kind of hoping that the horses out on course do brush through and don't jump the top of what you would say the standards on course, because that can be exhausting as well.
So That's Me Z is an 8-year-old Zangerscheid gelding owned by Tommy and Andrea Pfeiffer, and this horse is by Take a Chance on Me Z. Out of the mare Venetia. And again, they have made the trip out from the West Coast. This combination actually won the AEC's advanced class at the end of August, which is a big deal. And they were also in the 4-star short at Rebecca Farm. And, you know, this horse just continues to impress, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he went over and did the Young Horse Championships at Lyon, and it's been very targeted. I believe actually Matt Flynn sourced this horse, and it's kind of a fun story that both Tommy and Andrea saw the ad for the horse, and they both kind of stayed up all night thinking about it separately, and then made a phone call. I think Tommy made a phone call and said, "Did you see this horse?" And they said, "We've already bought him."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
This is actually their second trip to the East Coast this year. This pair also came to the four-star short at Defender, Kentucky earlier in the year. And great. Well, we are just going to take a quick break before we get underway with the action here at Morven Park in the four-star short.
But you do have new pedigree drizzlers. It's sauce for dogs.
U.S. Equestrian. Thousands of equestrians have united
to watch,
To learn.
to experience,
to compete
in the pursuit of fairness, safety, welfare, and joy.
From the grassroots to the Olympic Games,
each with personal goals but all united together for the joy of horse sports.
Ride united. Ride with US Equestrian.
Different dogs have different needs, like skin and coat, mobility support, and healthy digestion. That's why Ein's Advanced Health has different formulas, so every dog can be a healthy dog.
U.S. Equestrian members and fans get access to amazing member perks and discounts, like 20% off tires at Goodyear Tires, 35% off paints from Sherwin-Williams, discounts on mowers and equipment from John Deere, and so much more. Become a free USEF fan and unlock your member perks today.
While we wait for the four-star cross country to get underway, we have the U.S. Equestrian Open final.
So this is
four-star
fence
long
H.
later
It's pretty
today.
big table. Obviously, we're early on in the track, and
those guys will be tackling.
combination is notorious for causing a bit of complications. Coming to this, so it's all about knowing your horse, though, yeah? So you don't want to ride it too strong that they leap off, and obviously you don't want to have them come up and have a stop. So it walks a yard or two short in 5, but with the undulation of the ground, that could end up, depending on horse's steps as well, yeah? Long, short. And then it does step a nice 4 coming out. I think this will be a really influential combination this early on.
This jump is always influential every single year. You've just come from the top of the hill, winding your way down through the trees, and then here you are. So again, a nice bouncy canter, keeping them uphill ahead of your legs so they can wrap around to this vertical on the way in. And then a nice one stride all the way to this very impressive looking ditch, which you are going to have to jump on a slight angle. Again, just making sure that you can communicate that to the horse, hold the line, keep them in super, super balance as you're trying to keep them locked onto the C element, which is this brush. And the way they've set this, there's either a very direct 2, or if you're on a nippy, good, short strided little horse, you could potentially bend out in 3 as well. But again, when you're coming down to cross-country riding, it is line over number every day of the week, and then work your way out through the flags, keeping the red on the right and the white on the left.
We're here at the Great American Challenge at 17A, B, and 18. We're just at about 6.5 minutes here, and you have a long pull up this hill. You'll make this turn, and my plan is to jump a little bit right of center. So we get here in 6 strides. I think that the jump at the 17 is, you're gonna have quite a good sized jump. It's a ramp. It encourages the horses to kind of travel down the hill. You want to just be setting up very upright, because this is quite upright, severe angle. You'll be jumping this, and then it'll be 3 strides to 18. And there you have it. Hopefully we have a good, easy 6 strides to 3 there.
This is like a classic eventing question and a classic question from this course designer, Derek DeGrazia. Horses at this stage of the course are starting to get a little bit tired, starting to lose their balance a little bit, and this is a great test of the rider's ability to get their horse back into an organized canter for a big log and a steep drop coming into the water. We've got a little bit of a balancing, turning 4 strides to a very narrow skinny in the water, and then it's going to be a little bit of a moving 3 strides, I think, out to this last skinny. So the key is to get your horse in an organized canter that you can approach the log, jump the log with, kind of confidence, land, and then be able to ride that 4 strides, adding a little bit of leg, so that hopefully this 3 stride coming out doesn't get too long. We're gonna have great conditions, but it's still a lot of big jumps and some terrain, and I think this is still gonna be an influential question, but I think most horses will probably handle it okay, so long as the riders are able to get their horses balanced and organized.
That was a great look there of the 4-star long, which will be coming later today. We are just moments away from the 4-star short getting underway, probably just about 4 minutes time. Again, wonderful shots there. hit the axle. Box speed. Great.
Yeah, we're going.
Here we are with Tommy Greengard and That's Me Z approaching the start box. We're about to get underway with this 4-star short here at Morven Park International. Again, 6 minutes, 35 seconds, the optimum time again around Derek DeGrazia's 4-star short track.
So we had a little bit of a hold, which kind of, it affects people different ways. You're down there, you have your plan. But my experience with Tommy is he is very laid back, and he knows this horse. He's a competitor, but a laid back person, and he knows this horse well. You kind of saw everybody take a walk break. Then the officials and the stewards are really good about giving them a heads up, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to the box. And you can see That's Me Z just casually, politely walking around this box. And it's kind of wild to think that in, as little as a minute, we're going to see him reaching speeds up to, 570 meters per minute.
And there's a quick reminder of our standings overnight. Again, Tommy Greengard, our leader, will be first out of the box. We'll show them how it's done, hopefully.
And it is all to play for.
Scores are tightly bunched there. Every second will count. And again, we have a great group of riders here this weekend. And we've got some younger horses stepping up to the level. We've got horses that have been at the level and are sort of coming back. Again, Jenny Brannigan and her partner Pascal have won at the 4-star long level, and they'll be out here. We have the wonderful Sea of Clouds with Olivia Dutton. They have been longtime partners, and of course that horse was partnered with her father Philip as well.
Also, for those of you watching at home, we do have late withdrawals of Lisa Berry and Rosie's Aventura and Alexander Bra. So we will not be seeing them in today's class.
Great. You can see people out there waiting to catch all the action on this beautiful park that is Morven Park Equestrian Center. The house that we'll see in a few minutes on sort of some of the shots is actually a museum as well, and it was the home of a former governor of Virginia, Westmoreland Davis.
We are about to get started, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so excited.
Set his clock and out we go. So each rider will have their stopwatch. They'll know where their minute markers are. We've got a few nice fences to get us started. Kind of want to set the tone. Heads out to just a big table at fence 2. Huge, beautiful stride. You can see the backdrop there. And we've got our clock down on the bottom of the screen. Following along, again, the optimum time, 6 minutes, 35 seconds.
This first field sometimes can feel a little bit spooky to them. There's so much going on, and they've just left, and the barns are sort of just behind them. It always feels like it takes a moment for them to get into it. But
the shadows definitely play into what the horses see and how they feel about the fences as we come up to the first water complex. Water to water, which can sometimes be a little tricky, but not for Tommy. Right, really smooth. They get gallop into the next field over this big chicaner. He sits back, doesn't take a check, sends him up. A great graphic here on the left. You can kind of see where he is along the course.
He will go into that next field and come up to a very influential question on the course in just a moment.
Yeah, so we've just got a very simple brush fence there. Then he'll wrap up around the turn, and we've got a very, very, very tall hanging rail on Mim clips. That is incredibly upright, Annie. I'm not sure if the video here is going to give it justice, and you can't get straight to it. You're going to see Tommy just setting up, get right up against the rails, and then a very steep line, 4 strides down to the corner. Oh, and ends up in the 5. That'll be interesting, because I think everybody in walking that, not everyone, was back and forth, but that's a big striding horse, and he actually had to ride up for the 5. That flag won't matter. It looked from our angle, he was clearly inside.
They will have cameras out there on course, everyone, so that sort of behind each fence or sort of at the angle so that they can review any flag penalties as needed throughout the day.
Super committed ride there. Eagerly await.
I know. Here we see High Tide and Rachel Lawson just getting ready to leave the start box.
A thoroughbred horse, one of the older horses in the field.
Yes, he's a 15-year-old thoroughbred gelding, owned by Rachel. This pair come forward in 13th place on a 47.1.
See, this horse a little bit more clued into what that start box means. Oh, we might have a problem up here. We'll wait to give that to you. Maybe we'll get a replay of that, but this is up at the coffin. That is very, very surprising.
That is surprising. I don't think that this horse has had jumping penalty in the last year, so that will be frustrating. If that was the case, we will wait.
So that's the part question up at 9 ABC, which is fairly straight in front of you. It's a upright clip, 1 stride to a ditch, 2 strides out over an angled hedge. It will not be shared with the 4-star long later as we go back to Rachel Lawson in High Tide.
Looks very keen this morning.
Heads up to the water as we get a shot of Tommy. Turn right and really still riding quite strong here, but we do see the penalties added to his score. You know, that's the thing out here, Annie. These questions are big, and also the horses here, this is not their final trial. They're using this to head to a championship later on in the fall.
Yes.
So it's still very much a fitness run. So you're not going to see, even if there's a problem early on course, most of these riders are still going to use the hills. They're still going to push up the hills and be patient down the hills so they get the maximum benefit of the track here at Morven. This is, again, one of the fences that is unique to the 4-star short. And Derek set that up very interesting. There, I mean, I walked 10 different ways to ride that. There's a lot. There's inside lines and outside lines, but there's enough room there that you can really choose. And I think there it's more about the track than it is about the number of strides. Tommy was very efficient through there as he heads down to this big water. That is the last water on course as we move back to Rachel Lawson and High Tide.
It's such a fascinating thing with Derek's courses, right? That they, you know, you ride what's in front of you. You're not so worried about the exact strides.
So that is very interesting because they gallop all the way down the hill, and that walks in a fairly snug 4, and you could see a really open 3 strides on the way out. So Tommy riding very, very committed. That's going to give confidence to the riders back at home, but actually back in the barns watching, but really show that it takes some riding. You know, that's a very bold cross-country horse, and we've already seen trouble out on the course.
We had Will Coleman walk that for us for the course preview, and he was saying the same thing, that it's an interesting line in there, again, late on the course on the long as well.
So we'll see Tommy in a moment coming around into right at the tail end of the course. You have this big oxer here, and then we sneak down the bottom of the hill to a...
That was Tommy through the double of corners.
And we actually have no comment on that flag because we didn't see the angle of it. But we, again, like Annie said, there's cameras everywhere making sure that the horse's shoulder and hind end go through both flags. Tommy come up the hill to that, and back to Rachel Lawson. See that Rachel has had a problem at 9A, a refusal at the in
to the park question.
To the park question.
That's me. Z looks full of running still as Tommy comes down to this last turning question before home.
7 and 1 left to go. And our first rider will be home. But that has definitely opened the door.
There is no doubt. You know, it's interesting. Tommy and Dana Cook and her partner, Effie Quattro, were tied on the prediction center. That has just opened the door for someone to sneak through.
So we see Zach Brandt is out on course with his horse, Direct Advance.
Oh. So unfortunately, Rachel has just parted company, unfortunately, with high tide at the water there. Are up and okay. A little bit chilly on this breeze, on this chilly morning, but all will be well.
Have Sarah Anton and Go-Go at the start box.
We catch up with Zach Brandt in Direct Advance.
Down in the 4. This horse has a deceivingly huge stride. It's interesting because you saw Tommy ride up in the 5, and Zach rode a very, very efficient line on Direct Advance. This horse no stranger to the 4-star level. And again, using this as a fitness prep for a 4-star long later on in the season down at Terra Nova.
There is Sarah Beth Anton and Go-Go. They come forward on a 44.8 in 12th place. This horse is a 10-year-old Irish sport horse gelding owned by Melissa Town. Sire Flexible out of Siena.
This horse's cross-country record is exceptional, so it'll definitely be one to watch. She's a little off the mark from the dressage, but already we're seeing that yesterday is a long way away.
Doesn't matter. This pair just stepped up to the 4-star level at Stableview just a few weeks ago, and they have an impeccable cross-country record.
They're beautiful chestnut. Again, we noticed in the dressage phase that this is the division of the chestnuts.
As we have Zach Brandt and his wonderful chestnut out on course as well. Catching up with Zach here.
It looks like
he might have a problem there as well.
So we'll wait to see when that pops up, but that is becoming obviously the most influential jump on course thus far, and it's a rail, 1 stride to a ditch, quite a big ditch, 2 strides out over an angled hedge.
Catch back up with Sarah and Go-Go. This first water.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's that flexible jump right there. You know, that distance walks in a 7, and she ended up across there. He jumped right to the bottom of the water as we see Zach down to the water. The first or second shot we've seen here. Really nicely ridden there.
Zach is unfortunately carrying those 20 penalties from the park question.
Looks like he had his trouble on the hedge on the way out. And you can see this horse he's been such a bold cross-country horse his whole career, and a lot of it has been the rideability and the control. He's very, very brave, but it's on those technical lines where you really need to have a clean, clear line of communication. And when you get a little bit argumentative, sometimes the horses just don't see the hedge out in front. You can see Zach really setting up for these hanging rails because this is very twisty and turny down the hill to the table and then left turn back to the D element. See, oh no. You know, again, direct advance just not quite letting Zach show him where to go. He was really busy kind of having an argument with Zach that he just ran off the line, not even looking at the fence. So very unfortunate. And, you know, walking the course out there, we were talking, like you said, to Will Coleman, and there's just a lot of combinations that just require, there's just a lot of turning. There's a lot of turning and bending, A, B, C, D elements where the horse has to follow the line. We'll see this here. Gets the initial part of the turn done, and then just there, just isn't even looking. And by the time he's under at the
time he
fence,
sees
can't
it,
do
it's not possible.
So very disappointing to have that second refusal out on course for Zach.
Back up with Zach. The final water.
And you can see when it's right in front of him, you know, there's no question that the horse is going. But Zach and Direct Advance did travel up from Florida. There's not this type of terrain at all. And I think that's the name of the game of this course is the terrain and how it affects the rideability. Having those long gallops up the hill, down the hill, then having turning big accuracy questions.
We catch up with Sarah, Beth Anton, and Gogo.
So far, we have no penalties showing for Sarah. So can she be our first to make it home with no jump penalties?
That will move her right on up the leaderboard if so.
Coming down to this big water complex, and this is a massive drop. Wraps right around that.
He was so nimble there.
You know, and that complex, her horse is jumping great and has tons of athletic ability, so he can leave long. He can get to the base. As we have Natalia Neneman starting out on the course.
And Chesterland's Brown Sugar. This pair come forward on a 40.6. This is their first step up to the 4-star level.
Horse bred by the legendary
Bruce Davidson. The 10-year-old thoroughbred Irish sport horse.
They are too, I believe.
Yes, it is. Owned by the Noble Knights Equines. Jan and Natalia.
I remember talking to Natalia after, I think, her first 3-star run on this horse down at Chat Hills, and she was just grinning ear to ear saying how easy this mare finds the cross country and so brave and nippy. As we see Zach finishing up. Disappointing day for him at the office, but lots of information to learn from.
Lots of information, as you said, a really good fitness test as well.
And that's why these guys drive all the way up here. That's why everybody shows up, is to tackle this course, to get the challenge of it, and to see where they fall short at times, and they go back to the drawing board. But Zach will not be alone in kind of some disappointed company after the first few are out on the course. So here, once they're finished, they'll head over. They'll be met by the vets, their grooms, making sure that the horse's welfare is at paramount.
Here we are, catching back up with Sarah, Beth, and Gogo.
Super shot. That's a really cool slow motion shot there. You can see just the athletic ability of this horse. And it's amazing, right? I mean, some horses are just made to jump because we didn't see that picture in the dressage. You know, no, the first day is not her favorite, but.
And there's a camera there for that flag. That was Sarah Beth on her way home. We'll catch back up in a second with Natalia and Chesterland's Brown Sugar.
Yep, Sarah Anton definitely, I don't want to jinx it, but working on a clear round as we get a shot of Jenny Brannigan and Pascal. Jenny's already been a busy lady this morning, show jumping in the 3-star class that we'll see later this afternoon out on the cross country.
This horse is a 10-year-old Holsteiner gelding owned by the Pascal Syndicate, sires Pasco, out of Z Parada. Go with Sarah Beth.
Oh.
Turning
Living
question.
dangerously. You know, but that's a partnership. She trusts that if she can get this mare in, is it a mare?
No.
No, gelding in between the flags, that the gelding's going to jump, and super job there. She will be quite a bit over the time, but our first clear jumping.
She will be so pleased with that. Again, this is only the horse's second 4-star, and their amazing record remains unblemished.
Oh, that was a fantastic round. What a cool horse. What a cool combination. It's just so fun to watch horses that are so apt for the cross country and just so new to the level and ate that up. I mean, what a combination.
It was so fun to watch, and we'll look forward to watching that pair as we catch up with Jenny and Pascal. Of course, is a winner at the 4-star long level. Jenny's happy to have her partner back after he had a bit of time off as we catch up with Natalia.
Really efficient through there. You could see, again, it's not about the number of strides. It's really about the line. And she did a great job of making sure that this little mare knew where the line was, knew where the jump was. And she's got a catty little step, you know, very different than Tommy's horse earlier, who has a huge stride, or Zach's horse that has a huge stride. It's a little bit more to manage. Yes, the gallop is big and bold, but in these tight combinations, it's a little tricky as we're back with Jenny and Pascal. Oh, beautiful. And those shots just really showcase the athleticism of these horses. I mean, they're just really, really incredible.
How influential do you think the light will be in at that painter there, with the light shifting as the day's going on?
At this level, I think these horses have jumped enough ditches that I don't think necessarily that combination or that fence should cause too much of an issue. If that's causing an issue, basically they're going to have trouble elsewhere. Really nice inside on the 5 there.
Back
Super.
Chesterland's Brown Sugar. Coming up to final water.
Adds a stride there.
Going this way. They have a minute and 2 to get home.
Up there we have Effie Quattro and Dana Cook, who is one that we can think can challenge or take over that wide open leaderboard now.
It's a beautiful day here. You see all these folks out here tailgating at Morven Park, which is such a fun way to spend a cross-country day. Absolutely beautiful outside as we see Skylar, Voss, and Argyle out of the start box.
Your thoroughbred, longtime partner, 17
years old. Thoroughbred gelding owned by Skylar.
Skylar, local rider, grew up in Northern Virginia. As here we have a really good shot of the Park Question there. Oh, another to run off that hedge, and I hope that's not a predictor of what. There's a very significant question like this in the 4-star that's got a hell of an angle on it. So the horse is just not quite picking. And I think actually the shade there might be causing more of the problem. You know, there's a tree right next to that. The horses are running from light to dark. It does take their eyes a moment to adjust. And I just don't think they're picking up that is, you can see the shade, that is not just in something to go past. Because the horses that have had problems here are known to be bold cross-country horses. So real shame there as we catch up with Skylar back at this first water.
Pair traveled out to Rebecca Farm over the summer.
Jenny right to work here. No time to think about that mistake. It's funny because that distance on the way out has just been a bit awkward for everyone. We saw direct advance. We saw Tommy really off that last element, and both Natalia and Jenny really underneath it. So I think the horses are making a big effort, very genuine over the corner in the middle, and then just not getting that line back.
There we see Natalia.
Oh, she's
finished and she's so pleased. They
They did have a run out, it looks like, at 18B, which would have been the corner-to-corner combination.
Yep. We knew that that combination would be influential as well, especially towards the end of the course. Jenny making light work of that turning combination.
Out down, there's a big table, and then she'll meet that last water, and then we'll come around to those corners. So hopefully we can get a shot maybe of her at the corners, so we can see how those are riding.
Have Ariel and Cooley Baltic Sea. She's busy here as well. We saw her show jump her 3-star horse earlier.
Very good ride there. You know, so unfortunate about that problem earlier, because she's been riding fantastic, and this combination looks great. The horse is really picking up on the jumps in front of him. Such a great jumper. This horse originally started by Jenny's longtime groom, Alexa Lapp, as we see Ariel.
Cooley Baltic Sea out the start box. They come forward on a 38.3. We're in 8th place overnight, but currently in 6th after a few problems on course so far. This is a 11-year-old Irish sport horse gelding, owned by Christina Aharoni, and this pair have been together, done the 3-star, and this is, I think, their 3rd 4-star together.
Here is the corner-to-corner. Ooh, she did a good job of saying there it is. You know, the first corner is right in front of you, but Derek has really challenged you to ride a very accurate line there, because the next corner is big. There's a slight curve to it, but it feels a little easier to nip out to the left as we're back with Ariel. This horse has been produced to the 3-star level by Wills Oakton in Great Britain, as we are back at the water with Skylar. Girl. Yeah, you know, just had to have a little bit more power there. You're seeing the horses, there's a huge table, she's calling it a day, huge table at the top of the hill that just is a little speed bump. The horses are getting down, really getting to the base of that drop in. It's a big drop in, but once she lands, she goes to swing a little bit wide, and the horse is just out of power. And by the time this turn is here, it's a big enough corner. He just doesn't feel he has the scope to really get that effort done. And she wisely is saying, you know what, we'll save it for another day.
And that's really what it's all about, right? Sort of making those decisions on course and sort of deciding when it's not time. You know, others have had a 20 and kept going again, just had a different feeling.
Well, her horse at this point, 17 years old, you know, most of what she's doing out here is to go and have good runs. She knows that there's only so many more runs in the tank at that age. She's not building the fitness level. So she's going to save it for another day. So there.
Jenny is just through the finish, joined by her team.
So the vet's there, and basically, you know, if the horses are good to go, it's a short class. So if the horses look good, get the thumbs up from the vet, the riders are most likely going to ride the horses maybe back up to the barn where they've got all of their equipment to hose off and get the horse bathed and iced and, you know, the full spa treatment.
So Jenny was home in 7 minutes and 54 seconds. She will finish the day on an 85.0. Our clubhouse leader at the moment is Sarah Beth Anton and Go-Go.
Our only horse clear on the jumping home so far. Another lady out of the box here on a thoroughbred horse. Canada's Kendall Lahari and Mitchell, 17-2 hands.
He's so tall. He's a 10-year-old thoroughbred gelding owned by Kendall. He's by Giant Gizmo. He's out of Bear Memory.
Very smart. You know, she clearly had that in mind. She did not present, in my humble opinion, she was going to go around. She's just picked a clever line to actually come back and jump the hedge. It is a black flag option. There's another jump there, but she obviously felt it would just be quicker to give herself a little bit more time. And that was probably a very wise decision. We're back with Kendall.
Bird is getting
big
back.
Table.
Looks very keen. Approaching the first water.
Horse that did quite well in the thoroughbred makeover as a young horse, which is very exciting because that's going on this weekend in Kentucky right now. So we might have some
other
more
future
futures.
stars.
Yeah. So that is, and he actually excelled in the show jumping. He was, she said he was a little, the cross country was a little much for him at the time, but a good learning experience. And he's since had this horse over in Europe. I think was at Plantation with you.
Yep, she was at Plantation.
See on our screen still Ariel is working on a clear round.
Mitchell and Kendall were second in the 4-star at Bromont in August. 3-star in Bromont, you know, they make the trips back and forth, but again, it's wonderful for them to have Bromont as such a great venue there. She approaches.
Big question here. Oh, and she has the pin down. You know, I was just about to talk about the technology there. It is there for safety. It's programmed that it is there to prevent a fall. You know, you do get the penalties for having that pin down. The team will rush back up and fix that. But there's a current fundraiser going on. The funds are needed to a matching grant for $250,000 from the Manton Foundation. And you see this again. You see how this clip goes when the weight of the horse comes down on it to prevent a fall. And that fundraiser will replenish the frangible fence fund at the USEA Foundation to keep new and improved frangible fences on our courses as we catch back up with Ariel. Oh, sorry, guys. That was my gasp. Just
Very
a little
clever
slow
there.
off the floor there. You could see him just kind of thinking and studying.
So they've been given a 15. Be a flag penalty, but again, that could be reviewed. We didn't see it. As we welcome in the lady who was sitting in third place overnight, Effie Quattro and Dana Cook. They come forward on a 32.2. This horse is owned by the Effie Quattro Syndicate. He's an 11-year-old German sport horse.
So she will know that there's been problems early on course. She will know that the door has been open for her. She will know that she has a chance to be in the lead after this round. And she's going to have to be biding her time. A clear round is going to mean a lot today. She can have some time, but a clear round is going to be very, very influential.
And only 0.1 separate the now overnight leader, which would be Sarah Schulman and Coley Chromatic on a 32.1. So again, 0.1 between the two ladies that were in second and third overnight.
So we see that Ariel had been given that 15 at the water complex at the corner in the middle. So we'll have it. There will be a team reviewing that as we watch Dana head down to the first water complex, Effie Quattro. Really nice through there. You know, sometimes, Annie, that water to water can be a little jarring when they're going just back on that speed bump. We're back at this water here with Kendall. She's already had oh no.
Okay. We're going to take a look at something that happened with Ariel. This happened just a little bit earlier. Okay, so this is the park question.
This is the park question, and Mitchell is just not.
He's just a bit turned off. It feels like too sort of having that early pin maybe just knocked the stuffing out a little bit.
Yeah, you can see. I mean, he's just a smidge earthbound, and Kendall's still saying we're going to keep going. We're not going home on that. Obviously, she feels confident that she can help him get around this track as we're back up with Dana. Well ridden there. You know, it's funny because it's just so cross country, isn't it? Because we walk that line over and over, and we're kind of hemming and hawing with different stride numbers, and it just doesn't matter.
It's just what is in front of you at the moment, right?
It's just get from ride your line, be positive, and
there we see the lady sitting in first place currently on a 32.1. Again, 0.1 only separate her and Dana Cook. And
Kendall's still going.
Yeah. You know, sometimes it's important, right, if there's been a problem out there, just to sort of dig in and say, we've got to go. Like, we are going to finish this.
Yeah, and she'll know her horse. He's still jumping well, and you can see even when he's decided he's not going, you can really tell from a little bit of ways. He's still jumping well, and, you know, there's people there watching, making sure that all is good as
Dana
we're
at
back
this
with Dana at the park question. Ooh.
influential park question.
No. It is just causing it. You know, again, they're not picking up on it. He wasn't, she had a mistake on the way in, not necessarily the stride that she had wanted, so she wasn't able to really show him that line, but you could see his eye wasn't on the way out. This is a very genuine horse, but they're just not reading that.
I think Ariel's line earlier was probably very smart.
But I'll say when I walked it, I did not have that impression. Like when I walked that, I thought, oh, it's right in front of you. But again, the lighting has a lot to do with it, and you know, these riders would have most likely been out walking at the same time as their ride time, so they'll know that's, whoa,
Here's Fully Chromatic and Sarah Schulman. Again, they were in second place overnight, which means they're the current leader in the clubhouse on a 32.1 on this very influential track as she approaches the first water.
Fine. I mean, he just looked like he was drifting a bit out to the right.
Like he's looking at a lot of things going on out there.
Yeah, that'll be, and she will have known that there has been some trouble. He is probably one that's looking like he's affected by the shadows. It's interesting that you asked about that earlier. As
she just
we
did
are
an
back with
alt
Dana.
out of We're just getting word that Dana did have trouble at that Taylor Harris water.
The 11B at the corner in the water.
We see Sarah and Cooley Chromatic making their way up to this influential question at 7AB, the back on track angle.
Be interesting to see how she chooses to attack. You know, she's really taking her time. This is a big horse, and he's been jumping big and spooky. She went around the tree. So Derek placed a tree there, which all the other riders have stayed on the inside, but she just decided, you know what, a clear round, set it up, stay on the outside, be tactful. So it'll be interesting to know if her plan changed or if that was always.
Well, you know, this is the Cooley Chromatic's only his second 4-star as well, so she probably came out with a plan of thinking, let's jump the jumps, let's make this a nice experience. And knowing her horse, as you say, of being a little bit looky. Back with Dana.
Last water, she's really making sure he sees what's in front of him. You can see it's very clear on the way out, but still that A element. See Philip Dutton with daughter Olivia.
This will be our last out in this 4-star short. Olivia Dutton and Sea of Clouds.
I think she can do it, Annie.
I do too. This is the Sea of Clouds partnership. Sea of Clouds, he's at a 14-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Malibu Moon of Winner's Ticket.
Now, she has had some blips with this horse over the last couple of years. Some things have come up, but no better man to help you work that out than her father, Philip Dutton. So we'll see what we have as, oh, keep going. She's going long.
Yep.
Looks like she, as well, has just decided instead of to take advantage of the other fence, it just would be quicker to swivel a little line in there.
That's a big horse, and he was very tidy in there.
He was very tidy.
Get
We'll
another
get a shot of that again. She's looking, already turning.
Up with Sea of Clouds and Olivia Dutton. Prairie View Water. Riding very boldly there.
Down to this big water. You know, he keeps kind of drifting over to the right, so let's hope she can stay out there, ride a positive line. You know, this horse has tons of scope. So unlike Skylar's horse, who just kind of ran out of a little scope on that outside line, this horse doesn't need help in that department. He just needs the time, it looks like, to see the jump, jump the jump. See the jump, jump the jump.
Just that easy.
That's it.
See the jump,
see the
jump.
ball, hit the ball.
So Ariel and Cooley Baltic Sea's flag penalty is under review. We'll bring you word on that as soon as we have it. The Olivia Dutton and Sea of Clouds.
That's riding actually really quite well. You know, we had Kendall earlier have the issue with the min clip, but the horses are reading the corner.
13, clear at 13.
Sarah very smoothly. Again, she's gonna be racking up the time penalties, but on a day like today.
But I don't think that'll be an issue for her. I think she's just going to want, again, keep jumping the jumps and get this lovely horse home in his second 4-star.
You see on our board that Kendall did retire.
So the current leader in the clubhouse is Sarah, Beth, Anton, and Gogo. 60.1. Tommy Greengard, That's Me Z on a 66.7. Jenny Brannigan and Pascal on a 85.0 as we see Sarah Schulman way home. And we're going to catch up with Olivia and Sea of Clouds at the park question.
Giving him a reminder. Ah, beautiful.
Nice.
That flag won't mean anything there, but that was very professionally done. She was very committed, very positive on her way in and did not waver from the line. So it could be a big day for Olivia. Quite a fast horse as well.
Yes. Down to the Taylor, that's the Mars log, and then they're going to come down to the Taylor Harris Water Complex.
Come on, girl. Come on.
Come on, Sachs.
Had some problems overseas at the water, but not today.
That was
really
a super
well.
ride through there.
They'll take this big table, and then the 4-star short doesn't go all the way up to the mansion. They do a quick loop around where later we'll see the 4-star long horses travel all the way back up as we are back with Sarah Schulman and Cooley Chromatic right at the end of the track.
So they're 50 seconds over so far. Last turning question before the final picture frame on the way home. Source seems to have gotten bolder and sort of more comfortable within himself all the way around.
Well, you can tell she really knows her horse. She gave him the time, you know, and he's finishing very strong. She'll be so thrilled. What a beautiful horse. A great combination. And it's to the point that you said earlier that the fences by themselves look quite jumpable, but it's when you add kind of the speed component to it. So
just 30.4 time to add there. But she will be so pleased with that round as we catch back up with Olivia. Final water with Sea of Clouds.
Straight as a die. I mean, this looks like, in my opinion, kind of the close to the round of the day.
There's no doubt. Just need to get through this tricky combination on the way home at that double of corners.
Yeah, so the trouble's been spread throughout, but the park question caused a lot of disappointment through the day. And here at this corner combination, we've had a little bit of trouble as well. So this is really the last big question, I would say, on Derek's track. Oh, beautiful.
Wow.
Yep, super ride.
He's having a stunning round. It's our last, and she's still has 20 seconds to get home, so she will not be a million miles away from the time.
She'll come over this triple bar. And she's got the 2 chevrons at the bottom of the hill. It'll be over, but not by miles, like you said.
So she's just into time now. Just needs to stay below 60.8. That is the current clubhouse leader. And I think she will be well within that. I think we have just seen our winner of of the last fence.
Yeah.
There's our winner of, or the overnight leader of the 4-star short here at Morven Park. That is Olivia Dutton and the Sea of Clouds Partnerships Sea of Clouds. That was a stunning round, Sinead.
It really was, and she will have a big gap between her and the second place going in tomorrow in the show jumping. But happy dad right there. And she didn't just, answer the questions. She had a fabulous round, well within the reach. She'll be thrilled to have put some of those demons behind her at a few of the last tracks to get that done. Mom Evie running over, unhooks herself, and so ecstatic.
She will finish the day on a 45.9. Her closest person to her is Sarah Beth Anton and Gogo on a 60.8. And Sarah Schulman and Cooley Chromatic on a 62.5. Love these scenes.
Oh, it's so awesome. I mean, there can't be a more nerve-wracking feeling and then just such a proud feeling on the backside of that. It's just so, it's so exciting, such a team effort. And she really, really puts the work in. I don't think I've seen Philip smile that much before.
It's so good.
There you've got Kevin Keene, kind of the team vet. Very, very proud father, proud team.
Happy scene there. The U.S. Equestrian Open Eventing Final is brought to you by the Great American Insurance Group, the official equine insurance sponsor of the U.S. Equestrian Open. U.S. Equestrian, bringing the joy of horse sports to as many people as possible. Mars Equestrian, a better world for horses, pets, and people. There's our overnight leader, Olivia Dutton. She had a super round across the country and really showed everyone exactly how it was meant to be ridden.
Absolutely. And, when she's there with her horse, she's got...
They're the bosses who are owners of in that partnership, Sea of Clouds.
Yeah, they've been such huge contributors to the sport as we see her flying down to this Taylor Harris Insurance water. She really shows us how it's done. He's beautiful jump over the middle table there, positive and accurate over this mound fence, glass water, and just so straight, so positive, no argument, right? Just smooth as butter out there.
Look at that big smile at the finish line. You love to see that.
And look at his face, too. I think both her and Sea of Clouds smiling. This partnership has been such a fun one to watch develop. And when you kind of have a day like this, there's nothing better, for the whole family, the team involved, everybody here at Morven Park, volunteers, course builders. I mean, this is what the day of sport's about, This morning we had no idea. And now, 3 horses home without jumping penalties.
Yeah, unreal. Like, I don't think we would have ever called that at the beginning of the day. I mean, the track is always tough here for the time. Jumping, obviously, I mean, Derek's tracks are never easy, but that was, again, here's our overnight leaderboard with Olivia Dutton well out in front on a 45.9, followed by second-time 4-star starter and Sarah Beth Anton and Gogo, Sarah Schulman, Cooley Chromatic on a 62.5. Tommy Greengard was our overnight leader after the dressage on a 66.7. Ariel Aroni and Cooley Baltic Sea on an 80.1. Jenny Brannigan and Pascal. And then there rounds out our last ones. We are still waiting on sort of maybe some flag penalties and stuff. But again, Natalia, Dana, and Zach Brandt there round out our class of folks who got home.
Yeah, super, super day. I don't know if our 4-star long competitors are going to be feeling much better.
I don't think they're going to. They may have learned a few things, but I think they may be walking some additional lines there.
Well, again, I think it's a beautiful track laid out. All the jumps are jumpable. They've proved that they can be jumped. It's a slightly different track this afternoon as opposed to a 6-minute track where we're over towards 10 minutes, 9 seconds on Derek DeGrazia's 4-star long final track. Starts at 10:45 a.m. with the U.S. Open Eventing Final.
I cannot wait to get underway with that 4-star long. We hope you will join us for the U.S. Equestrian Open Final 4-star long cross-country test. We are going to be in for quite a treat later. So for Sinead Halpin Maynard, I'm Annie Bishop saying so long from Leesburg, Virginia, here at Morven Park, where our overnight leader is Olivia Dutton in Sea of Clouds.
Cleaning your dog's teeth can be hard. But not with Greenie's dental treats. Greenies, make health a treat. Also, try Greenie's dog food and toppers.
You just have to get in the seat of a John Deere Gator XUV. Not because it puts work in its place. With the highest cargo box volume in its class. Or because it can tow up to 4,000 pounds. You just have to get in the seat. Because all this versatility kinda just makes your day.
Misty?
You know this person?
Is your cat getting too cool? Give him Temptation's treats.
We fly horses anywhere around the world, whether it is a hobby horse or it's an Olympic champion. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely, in best of health, and in the quickest possible of time. We understand the business better than anybody else. We do not leave any stone unturned, and we are staffed by horse people from every layer of the company. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.